So Jim, big win for you at UFC 200. I know going into that fight, there's some questions where you're at in your career. Do you feel like you kind of reestablish who you are in the sport and your place in the division and everything?
Yeah, I think what I kind of did is I brought my confidence back. I was feeling like garbage, and performing like garbage as well. If I'm going to be brutally honest, I had some pretty rough performances. Didn't go out and fight like I'm capable of fighting in quite a few fights. So it was good to go out and feel that energy that I felt 2-3 years ago when I was inside the cage, because it wasn't there for at least the 4 fights. So yeah, it was good to go out and kind of do it for myself. Really is know that I'm still capable of fighting like that.
Yeah, did you need to actually just go in the cage and perform to get over that stretch that you were feeling, or was there something that you can pinpoint of why you were feeling that way during that period?
Well, I it ended up I was dealing with Lyme disease, so
right.
It just it was a slippery slope, and it got really difficult, the beginning of this year, to train or to really do anything.
Yeah.
So I'm the stubborn type. I don't go to the doctor a lot, so it was. It finally got to that point where, I went and saw my doctor and talked to him for a bit about it, and we did the right tests and found out what it was, and it was. It's one of those things where it might come back, but at least I know what it is now. So yeah. I have a lot of confidence in that okay, well, now I know why I wake up in pain, or things are going numb constantly throughout the day, or I can't focus, and it's not just 10 years of being a pro fighter and dealing with injuries from head to toe and all that stuff. It was something else, something that's controllable.
Sure.
And I know the feeling now. So if it does rear its ugly head again, I know what to do.
Yeah, and that win against Gomi wasn't that long ago, less than 2 months ago. What was your reaction when they called you and wanted to do such a quick turnaround and for a rematch against Joe, who obviously you have a history with?
I asked Joe Silva inside the cage for a quick one. I was ready to fight again, next week, the week after that, if he wanted. So I was confident that I was going to get, a quick turnaround, and I went into the fight at UFC 200 lighter than I've ever gone into a UFC fight, and then to just roll that right over into another training camp, feeling good, in shape. It didn't matter whose name it was, and I'm excited for the fight with Joe. I'm excited for the opportunity to set out to do what I set out to do in the first fight, and that's put him away.
Yeah.
But I'm also prepared and in way better shape than I was last time. So if it becomes that difficult fight, that tough gut check type fight, I'm more than prepared for it.
Yeah, and interesting stat, between you two, this will be your 46th combined UFC fight, which is the most octagon experience of any matchup ever in the UFC. What do you kind of going into a rematch like that, especially when you were on the A side of the first fight? How do you approach this? Do you feel like you need to make adjustments, he needs to make adjustments, or do you feel like it's a completely different fight since it was a few years back?
The 2012 it's a long ways away. We've had quite a few fights since then, apiece. So it's a different fight, and I'm going out there to prove that the Jim Miller of 2016 is better than the Joe Lozon in 2016. We had a tough fight last time, but I won.
Yeah.
So I don't have it in my head. All I have in my head is that, like I said, the second chance to put him away. maybe we step into that octagon and the door closes behind him, and he envisions those elbows again. I can only hope that it might affect him. But for me personally, it's a brand new fight and a brand new opportunity.
Yeah, and what are your goals at this point? Because obviously, I think you're going to have the second most fights in lightweight history after this. If you win, you'll tie Gleison Tebow for the most wins in the division's history. So, is it just kind of to build up your resume as strong at this point? Are you looking ahead at another run at the title? What's your main focus and your main goals at this point?
Leading up to UFC 200, I had the opportunity to train a little bit down at Nick Catone's and get some rounds in with Eddie Alvarez. And here's a guy that he's the champ. He's the #1 lightweight in the world right now. And getting the rounds in with him, I felt very confident. Going into that fight with Gomi, and I know that I can compete with the best guys in the world. And it's just a matter of showing up, being healthy. And fortunately, right now, I feel great. Yeah. So I want to. My goal has always been to perform at my best and to have that perfect performance, to have that perfect fight, and live up to my expectations for myself. And I know that if I do that, a second title run, is right there, and I'm gonna beat some guys up and have fun doing it.